right, you know what time it is. It is weather for Weather Geeks time here, the Tuesday evening, November 17th edition. Another beautiful day today. We overachieved again. 64 our high temperature at the Youngstown Warren Airport this afternoon. Our average about 48, 49 at this time of the year. You know the party's going to end at some point, and in fact, we have big changes coming as we head into the upcoming weekend. Now let's get right to what's going on right now, and of course, locally, not much. Warm front is lifting up through parts of northwest Ohio and Michigan right now, producing a little rain in Michigan. This probably is not reaching the ground in northwest Ohio. The more legitimate rain is out ahead of the cold front, with the severe weather threat ongoing this evening from Louisiana up through parts of Mississippi and right along the Mississippi River. Threat for tornadic activity and severe thunderstorms continuing for the next several hours, along with some pretty hefty rain as well. A whole lot of rain falling with this system. On the backside, yeah, still snowing in parts of the high plains. And, of course, the whole mess is slowly pushing east, but I do mean slowly. Pretty easy to find where a cold front is this evening. There's actually two fronts you can analyze on the map. One is here, and then the Arctic front is back here. So you get a bigger drop on this side of the second front. So each front, of course, pushing east, and we'll start to feel the effects from these fronts and the change in air mass, certainly by Thursday. Let's get right to the details on when we can expect some rain. I think it's going to be a good 24 hours from this evening. I'm recording this in the 7 o'clock hour. I'm going to show you the high-resolution NAM model. NAM stands for North American Model. Tomorrow morning as you get up, we're high and dry. Notice the isobars are packed pretty close together here. So a pretty windy day coming up for tomorrow. Not as windy as it was at the end of last weekend and into Saturday, but you look upstairs in the atmosphere, look at all the wind again up at 5,000 feet. 850 millibars is this pressure level, roughly 5,000 feet. That is a whale of a low-level jet. But unlike last week when we had those windy days Friday and Saturday, I think we're going to have a harder time tapping in to that wind energy up at 5,000 feet. The atmosphere is not going to be able to real efficiently pull that down. So while it is going to be windy here tomorrow, again, the real strong winds are going to stay aloft. So that is a good thing. As far as the rain goes, here we are at 3 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow. Rain getting into, there we go, the I-75 corridor in western Ohio, Cincinnati, Dayton, up to Lima, Toledo as well. And here we are at 7 o'clock in the evening with showers approaching I-71. Now, this is one of the slower ideas. Some of the other modeling is a little bit faster, but I think sometime between 7 and 10 is when the rain's going to begin on average, going from west to east. Here's the NAM model at 10 p.m. showing our rain pushing in. And as most of us are sleeping tomorrow night, the rain will come and it will go. It could be heavy for a couple of hours. As you get up and around Thursday morning, most of the rain is gone, the steady rain anyway. There might be some sort of residual shower early Thursday morning, but I think the day largely is dry. Clouds might take a while to break. It may take until well into the afternoon before we see too many breaks in the clouds on Thursday. And then as we wrap up the work week on Friday, a little dome of high pressure over St. Louis gives us a cool but fairly sunny day coming up on our Friday. Rainfall amounts with this midweek system, the models are in pretty good agreement here, actually, with only the Canadian being kind of an outlier. That's the blue line. But the European, the GFS, the NAM model, the RPM, which is our in-house model, all clustered really nicely up here around 3/4 of an inch worth of rain. So good slug of rain coming our way for tomorrow night. Some of the rain can be heavy for a few hours. All right, so the weekend. We've continued refining the weekend forecast, and it's certainly going to be colder this weekend. Now here's the map Saturday morning. What we have is a weak area of low pressure cruising into Ohio, cold front trailing behind. You could probably analyze a warm front in through here. I do think the atmosphere will support rain as the precipitation comes east, so we'll see some chilly raindrops midday on Saturday. But as we get into Saturday evening, particularly after sunset, I think the atmospheric column will cool down and start to support frozen precipitation. I don't think this sticks on the pavement Saturday evening, at least early on, but I think snowflakes will be seen flying throughout the valley Saturday evening into parts of the overnight. Now, as we go into the overnight, the precipitation will be lighter. It might have an easier time sticking. We're going to drop below freezing Saturday night, but it'll be lighter precipitation. So by Sunday morning, I can't rule out someone waking up to a candy coating or a half an inch or something worth of snow, particularly north of I-80. But generally speaking, don't think this is a big deal. And on Sunday, the lake effect machine will crank up the first legitimate lake effect event of the season, aimed mostly kind of west to east. So Ashtabula County gets it, Erie, PA, the Finger Lakes of New York, Buffalo, especially south of Buffalo, gets in on some of this lake effect on Sunday. GFS shows snow accumulations up in the lake effect zone, particularly in northwest PA. Someone could get 3, 4, 5 inches out of this. That's some pretty high terrain up in Crawford County and south of Erie. There could be a 3 to 5 zone in there. Closer to our viewing area, to somewhat up towards Mespo and maybe Greenville in Mercer County, somewhere in that zone, the far northern part of our viewing area. Does someone get 1.5 inches, 2 inches? I can't rule that out, but I think that's the far north. For most of us in the WFMJ viewing area, candy coating, ½ inch at worst out of this weekend snow. This is just the GFS model I'm showing you, but this idea is pretty common in the other modeling as well. So our confidence pretty high that the weekend snow situation is more decorative than anything, more mood snow, not expecting a whole lot in the way of accumulation. All right, so Thanksgiving week. The modeling is still kind of all over the place with the details next week, but whatever model you choose to like, none of the modeling is showing any sort of big storm before Thanksgiving, and that is good news. Here's the upper level pattern. Checking out Sunday, the end of the weekend, you've got a pretty good-looking trough over the eastern U.S., so it's going to be cold. We're probably not much of a freezing on Sunday with those snow flurries and snow showers and a gusty breeze as well. It's going to feel like midwinter on Sunday. But that trough will indeed start to lift out. It'll take a couple of days. By Monday, it's starting that process, and by Tuesday, and particularly Wednesday for that big travel day right before Thanksgiving, I think we're in pretty good shape. You've got a big deep trough digging into the west. The west is going to be no fun next week. But in response to that trough out west, you get a ridge popping up downstream, just like ripples on a pond. When you throw a rock into a pond and get a little, you dig into the pond a little bit, well, immediately downstream of that digging that the rock caused, that divot that the rock caused, if you will, the water goes up. You get a crest in the wave, and the same idea happens in the atmosphere. So downstream of the trough, you've got a nice ridge. And so, I'm really thinking that Wednesday and Thanksgiving Day will be benign days. It's going to be cold and snowy and rainy in California, Nevada, Arizona, ugly weather out in the Rockies, but not seeing too many problems here a week or so out in the east for the time right around Thanksgiving. Now, temperature-wise, next week starts chilly. Around Thanksgiving, though, with this ridge popping up, we could go back above average. Now, Thanksgiving week averages are in the mid-40s. So we're not looking at any sort of heat wave, but we could see a 50 or maybe even lower 50s for highs, middle and latter portions of next week. So as it stands now, not looking at any problems for traveling, not looking at any problems for Thanksgiving Day and for Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. At this point, I'm pretty confident that we're not going to see too many issues. But as we always say in the longer range, check back often, because things in the longer range can and often do change. But as it looks right now, not looking too bad for Turkey Day. Thanks for watching the Tuesday Night Weather for Weather Geeks. I'll see you tonight on 21 News at 11. If you're up tomorrow morning, be sure and check out my weather blog, ericwfmj.com, for a text weather briefing with fun graphics that'll bring you up to date on the latest thinking for the forecast for the next several days. All right, have a great night.